The introduction. The rain fell relentlessly over the small town of Ashford, its steady rhythm a somber backdrop to the events that would soon unfold. On a typical Thursday afternoon in late October, the skies mirrored the unease making its way through the community. Leafless branches swayed under the heavy weight of clouds, while the chill in the air hinted at the winter to come. Despite its picturesque facade of quaint homes and manicured lawns, Ashford was harboring secrets beneath its veneer of tranquility. A rusted street lamp flickered near the town's small police station, its light dim and unsure. Much like the confidence of the local law enforcement, they had seen the usual petty crimes: shoplifting, vandalism, and the occasional bar brawl. However, this evening was different. The sergeant at the front desk peered through the rain-smeared window, noticing a neighboring diner emptying out. Patrons moved quickly, heads down, rushing towards the warmth of their vehicles, unaware of the darkness enveloping their town. At precisely 6:25, a frantic knock shattered the stillness inside the station. It was Mary Tomlinson, a familiar face in the community but now bathed in panic and cold perspiration. Her hands trembled as she clutched a worn-out purse against her chest. "They're missing!" Her voice broke. "My boys, they were supposed to be home an hour ago." As the sergeant took in her words, the weight of her fears settled heavily over the station. The echoes of a mother's dread reverberated through the room, setting into motion an investigation that would dig deeper than anyone anticipated. The victim. Teenage laughter echoed through the sparse hallways of Ashford High as students filed out, their backpacks bouncing against their spines. Among them, 12-year-old Ethan Tomlinson was known for his adventurous spirit, his golden blonde hair tousled, and a mischievous glint in his blue eyes, the kind of boy who never backed down from a dare. He had recently taken to exploring the wooded areas surrounding town. For him, every fallen branch and rustling leaf promised another treasure waiting to be found. Ethan was the kind of kid who could light up a room, and his brother, 10-year-old Oliver, idolized him with every shimmering glance. Yet despite the vibrant sibling bond they shared, today was different. As the school day came to an end, a sense of foreboding seeped into the air. The weather grew colder, and the wind howled through the trees, rustling leaves that clung desperately to their branches. Earlier that afternoon, the two brothers had begged their mother for permission to roam the nearby woods, a quest promised to yield hidden wonders like the painted stones they had found just last week. With a hesitant nod, Mary had reluctantly agreed, but with strict instructions to be back by 5. Now, as shadows lengthened and the sun dipped below the horizon, the type of worry sinking into her gut had yet to manifest. Only hours later, as Mary scanned the treetops from the window, the first inkling of panic washed over her. She had come to expect the sound of their laughter resonating through the door, but was met with a consuming silence that wrapped around her like a shroud. With dread pooling in her chest, Mary's frantic thoughts spiraled into the unknown as the minutes ticked by mercilessly. The crime scene. As darkness enveloped Ashford, the piercing wail of the sirens shattered the quiet night. Police cars lined the entrance to the wooded area that Ethan and Oliver had spoken about with such excitement earlier in the day. Streamers of flashing red and blue lights cut through the gloom, offering a stark contrast to the blanket of darkness around them. Officers moved with a sense of purpose, lighting the path ahead with their flashlights as they combed the underbrush for any sign of the boy. With each step further into the woods, the undergrowth became denser, shadows dancing between the trees, whispering the secrets of the night. The smell of damp earth mingled with the faint traces of pine, its cloying scent filling the air. A thick fog began to curl around the trunks, weaving through the branches like an unsettling specter. It was Officer Jenkins who stumbled upon the first clue: a blue baseball cap caked in mud, unmistakably belonging to Ethan, judging by the embroidered initials inside. Beneath the cap lay a patch of crushed leaves and disturbed soil, evidence of a struggle. Jenkins halted, his heart racing as the weight of what that meant settled deeply. The forest, once a place of adventure for the boys, now felt hostile, its secrets lurking just beyond the beam of his flashlight. Moments later, the lead investigator, Detective Ramirez, arrived on the scene, his brow furrowed with concern. As he surveyed the area, the reality seeped in. They were searching for more than just two boys out past curfew. They were on the brink of a tragedy. This was no mere case of children lost in the woods. Whispers of something much more sinister hung in the air like a thick fog refusing to lift. A chill ran down his spine as he turned to his team, steeling himself for the hunt ahead. They were standing on the precipice of a dark mystery that would warrant all the resolve they could muster. The early investigation. The phone rang incessantly at the Ashford police station as news of the boy's disappearance spread like wildfire through the tight-knit community. Families turned their gaze to the woods, fingers gripping their phones, pensive whispers filling the air. Meanwhile, Detective Ramirez pieced together an urgent plan with his team. They divided into small units, each determined to scour the surrounding area before the chill of night settled in further. Ramirez and his partner, Officer Harris, moved quickly to establish contact with the last known individuals to see Ethan and Oliver. Onlookers and neighbors became walking testimonies, fidgeting with worry as they recounted their last sightings. The school had dismissed at 3:30, and the boys were last seen diving into their afternoon adventures around 4. Through the flickering glow of the station's fluorescent lights, surveillance footage from the local diner revealed Ethan and Oliver leaving, the lens capturing their carefree conversation, unaware of the lurking dread awaiting them in the woods. Ramirez noted their shared laughter, eyes filled with innocent exuberance, a stark contrast to the grim task now before them. The last glimpse of their normal lives haunted the detective. Building a timeline became essential. Each minute that passed proved critical, yet the initial hours offered no solid leads. A community meeting was called the urgency palpable, as families clasped hands and shared supportive glances. Posters filled with smiling photos of the boys began to dot the town, capturing their lives in vibrant snippets that now felt worlds away. As the sun reluctantly dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows, the first flickers of doubt coiled in Ramirez's mind. He had seen cases like this before. They were often far more complicated than they appeared. The glow of hope was fading, and with it, the fear of what they might uncover loomed larger than the dark woods surrounding them. The dead ends. The day stretched into a relentless blur, each hour echoing with the same heart-wrenching desperation. The town of Ashford found itself enshrouded in an oppressive silence, punctured only by whispers of gossip and the haunting refrain of speculations. As Detective Ramirez coordinated the search efforts, the biting chill of autumn seeped into both the atmosphere and their resolve. With each passing day, Ramirez and his team were faced with dwindling hope. The initial leads offered only dead ends, trailing off like wisps of smoke. Searches through the wooded area turned up nothing more than the unremarkable debris of nature-forgotten toys and litter, swallowed by the hunger of the forest. Every crackle of leaves underfoot felt like a taunt, a reminder of the elusiveness of Ethan and Oliver's whereabouts. In an effort to ignite any remaining leads, Ramirez sought out the boys' friends, looping in families from the neighborhood, each conversation a knot tightening around his heart. While many reported last seeing the brothers with enthusiasm regarding their plans to explore, one hesitant friend, Timmy, offered a glimmer of a different story. I saw them with some older kids on bikes, he nervously confessed, eyes darting. They were just. I didn't think it was weird at the time. The implications struck a dissonant chord, overshadowed by uncertainty. Yet, attempts to track down these older boys brought no results. Administrators at the high school were unhelpful, citing a lack of engagement. The investigation felt more akin to a labyrinthic turn leading to more confusion rather than clarity. As gray clouds loomed over Ashford, the signs of winter creeping in weighed heavily on Ramirez's shoulders. The children of the town turned their gaze to the woods, where they once felt exhilaration, now sensed an undercurrent of fear. With every passing sunset, a chilling realization crept into the minds of the townsfolk. Time was slipping away, and with it, the hopes for a joyous reunion. A break in the case. The tension in the Ashford police station was a tangible thing. Thick as fog, wrapping around the officers as they pored over reports and tips. Just as doubt began to creep into their collective consciousness, a phone call crackled through, igniting a flicker of hope that reverberated through the building. "Detective Ramirez," answered the officer on duty, his pulse quickening as a voice on the other end demanded urgent attention. A jogger reported a sighting near the outskirts of the very woods where Ethan and Oliver disappeared, barking dogs that had startled them. They had followed the sound, leading to a clearing where a faint, curious smell hung in the air, reminiscent of campfire smoke. With their spirits rekindled, Ramirez assembled a team on the spot, urgency lighting their faces and determination edging into each stride. They split up, combing the area the jogger had described with renewed vigor. The sun hung low in the sky, its fading light barely illuminating the thick tangles of branches. But the palpable hope was like a palpable anthem, guiding their way. It was Officer Jenkins who spotted the first clue. Half buried beneath fallen leaves, a piece of fabric, frayed and unmistakably blue, which matched the boys' favorite jackets. The piece of fabric unleashed a torrent of emotions. Could it really lead them closer to the truth? As they explored further, the scent of smoke grew stronger. An ash-stained space where a fire had been hastily extinguished told tales of its own, a place where someone had lingered, where echoes of laughter might once have been. Detective Ramirez's instincts galvanized at the sight. Carefully, he recorded his observations, piecing together the evidence like a puzzle. The new information held gravitas and significance, and Ramirez could feel the weight of the discovery in his chest. This lid, however small, represented a return to possibility, a chance to reconnect community and family. As the team gathered, a shared resolve sparked between them this time. They would press deeper into the woods and uncover what had been hidden far too long. The suspect. As the investigation progressed, the atmosphere in Ashford shifted perilously. The town's residents hungered for answers, but with each passing day, fear and mistrust seeped into their lives. Whispers of a shadowy figure began to surface, a man who had been seen loitering around the woods days before the brothers went missing. His presence was fleeting but potent, weaving a thread of unease through the community. Detective Ramirez focused his attention on the sightings. Multiple witnesses recalled a scruffy man with unkempt hair spilling beneath a tattered baseball cap, his clothing mismatched and weary. Those who braved proximity to him noted a peculiar intensity in his gaze, one that felt heavy and unsettling. The police discovered he had recently been living in the area, rumored to have had a tumultuous history, straddling lines between misfortune and menace. Desperation led Ramirez to track down this man, who was often seen prowling the periphery of the woods, lurking just beyond the trees. With the town's nerves frayed, the detective knew that if this man held any connection to Ethan and Oliver, the truth had become a malignant ghost haunting Ashford. After a few days of investigation, they finally managed to locate the man at a local shelter. The dingy room was illuminated by flickering lights, a tacit reminder of the shadows surrounding him. He was brooding, silent, and when approached by Ramirez, his demeanor quickly shifted. He recoiled slightly, but caught himself, a furtive glance revealing something deeper beneath his surface, a flicker of desperation mixed with defiance. "Why the hell are you looking for me?" His voice crackled, brimming with accusation. But Ramirez, undeterred, pressed him for a statement. The man's alibi was meticulously detailed, but the incoherence in his eyes ignited a small flame of doubt within Ramirez. Something didn't add up. The man's verbal protestations felt like flimsy walls against an unseen tide. Beyond sheer desperation, the detective sensed a deeper truth shrouded behind the veil of his words. Was he hiding, or did he hold the key to unraveling the enigma of what had happened to the boys? Even as the police gathered evidence, they knew too well that suspects shrouded in layers of complexity often emitted barriers difficult to penetrate. But Ramsey was determined. The next move had to be decisive. The trial. Months passed, and as the leaves turned to hues of barren gray and charcoal, the community of Ashford braced itself for the impending trial. The small-town courthouse, once a beacon of hope for justice, now loomed heavy with doubts and murmurs of past pains. Families filled the seats, their eyes dark with unanswered questions and a desperate need for closure. Detective Ramirez could feel the electric tension when he stepped into the courtroom, the air thick with emotion. The suspect, a man named Roger Mills, stood at the defendant's table, appearing disheveled yet unnervingly calm. He had been charged with the kidnapping of Ethan and Oliver, and the atmosphere was ripe with uncertainty. Witnesses testified about his strange habits, his lingering presence near the woods, and the fractured psychology that laid bare his troubled past. The prosecution presented their case meticulously, presenting evidence collected from the wooded area. They presented the blue fabric found at the campfire site and eyewitness accounts, which painted a harrowing image of Mills's behavior before the boys vanished. Yet as the testimonies unfolded, an unsettling realization dawned. They lacked definitive proof tying him directly to the boys' disappearance. The defense played its cards with equal vigor, weaving tales of mental health struggles and a turbulent upbringing that evoked sympathy and doubt. Family members of Mills expressed helplessness, painting a portrait of a man who had been broken by his past, rather than one shaped into a perpetrator. As the trial proceeded, the courtroom became a battleground of perception, each lawyer pulling the strings of emotion to weave their narratives. Ramirez sat alongside the families, the weight of the boy's absence palpable in the shifting hope and heartbreak present in the room. He couldn't ignore the fact that emotional responses fueled fierce debates, with many struggling to untangle what they felt from the evidence laid bare. As closing arguments loomed, the tension couldn't have been thicker, and Ramirez couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere amid the struggles for justice, the truth was still dancing just out of reach. He held onto that flicker of hope for the families, that no matter the outcome, they deserve an answer, sir, at the very least, the beginnings of peace. The aftermath. The verdict arrived like a storm cloud, overshadowing Ashford irreparably. As the gavel fell and the words, "Not guilty," echoed through the courtroom, gasps erupted, followed by horrified silence. The weight of despair settled heavily on the shoulders of the families, their hopes crashing down uncontrollably. Faces that had once shown resolve now reflected the aching depths of loss, the overwhelming agony of unanswered questions. Roger Mills left the courthouse a free man. The sunlight bathed him in an almost surreal light, illuminating the disarray of his demeanor as reporters swarmed around him, eager for a statement. He offered none, his expression unreadable, enigmatic. To the families gathered outside, it felt as if another shadow had been cast upon their lives, amplifying their heartache. Mills may have escaped the chains of legal guilt, but the specter of suspicion continued to trail behind him. In the following weeks, Ashford grappled with a fragmented sense of community. Conversations that once hummed with the excitement of daily life were drowned in whispers of doubt. The locals debated fiercely in coffee shops and on porches, voices tinged with anguish. Inadvertently entwined in the rancid aftermath of tragedy. Their innocence stripped away. Detective Ramirez found himself frequently reflecting on the case, sifting through layers of despair like a relentless tide. Nightmares invaded his thoughts, often putting faces to those lost moments, the brothers' laughter echoing in his mind. He pored over the evidence time and again, grappling with the elusive truth that seemed to shimmer just out of reach. But amidst the darkness, the families found strength in each other. Community gatherings transformed into vigils, not just for Ethan and Oliver, but for the spirit of the town itself. Candles flickered in long rows under the evening sky, a flickering testament to their unity against the darkness that had invaded their lives. Hope persisted, for within a grieving community, even in sorrow, there remained a collective resilience that refused to dim. The case might have closed in a legal sense, yet it lingered in the hearts of those affected, echoing like a reminder of the fragility of life, the power of community, and the unyielding hope for justice. Reflection. The landscape of Ashford endured a transformation steeped in resilience, yet the threads of silence still wove their way through the town's fabric. Detective Ramirez often found himself wandering those familiar streets, pondering the faces of Ethan and Oliver Bright, innocent boys swallowed by shadows. The echoes of their laughter lingered like ghosts in the back alleys, haunting their community while demanding remembrance. In the months following the trial, Ramirez made an effort to connect regularly with the families, engaging in conversations that revealed layers of grief beneath their exterior toughness. He documented their stories, weaving the memories of the boys into a tapestry of resilience and shared pain, striving to etch them into the hearts of a town unwilling to forget. Amidst the lingering torment of unanswered questions, there began to emerge a sense of unity and purpose. Members of the community formed a foundation in honor of Ethan and Oliver, dedicated to raising awareness about child safety and providing support to families who had faced similar heartbreaks. As Ramirez observed the resolve in their eyes, he found himself battling a profound introspection. What had once felt like an impossible task, finding justice, had transformed into a journey toward healing. The effort reflected the town's collective strength, a way to ensure that, even in tragedy, light could break through darkness. It was no longer just about what had been lost, but about leaning into the pain, molding it into something far greater, a testament to love, memory, and the relentless pursuit of safety for all children in Ashford.